Okey doke.
Like a coffee shop, exactly.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, October 18th. It is 5:23. Can we maybe stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we do the consent agenda, I would like to just introduce Barbara Olson. Barbara is a new board member. She started this month. She is replacing Josh McClutchin, who resigned due to personal issues. Barbara, I could go around and have you introduce yourself, but we all want to get this meeting over as fast as possible, so they can talk to you afterwards.
One item of note is that she also serves on the Monarch Board, so if you're...
Oh, are you on the Monarch
Nice.
Board? Oh, congratulations, or should I, sympathies?
Congratulations.
Okay,
It's pretty good.
okay. I would like to call for a consent agenda to approve the library board regular meeting minutes from September 20th and also the library expenditures and revenues for the month of September 2022. May I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve it.
Motioned and second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Financial reports. Joseph did send them out, so I do have them. I've looked at them. Basically, we didn't have any donations for this month, which Joseph would usually talk about. We had 3 checks written. All of them were for family fun nights. And I did not hear back from Joseph what he had done with the potential CD. So we'll have to put that on for next month, or if he comes,
Okay.
we can talk about that. The only question I guess I would have is, I probably should contact the county to find out about the outreach payment, unless you know when that's coming.
I don't know exactly when that's coming.
And
Yeah.
it's not your fault, you know, they used to have a county library board group that would meet, and they disbanded that. So it's one of those things that may have fallen. All they ever did was get together to approve sending us our money. So now, somebody's not telling them
We
to.
just sent, in the last month, we just sent the last invoice for them, so I would imagine within the next 30 days, we should get a payment
For outreach?
for outreach.
Okay.
Because it does take government that long to...
Well, that's why if you look at our finances and outreach, we're operating 12,000, 13,000 in the red, because we haven't gotten the payment for this year. So we're dipping into fund balance. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if not, we'll move on. The library director's report. Mr. Library Director.
Good stuff. Vanessa Taylor joins us on Monday, October 24th, so that's very exciting. And she's been a library director in the city before, so that should help smooth things as far as the transition. I don't expect a whole lot of training that needs to happen there, so she'll hit the ground running, and that should be fun. Brad implemented the multi-factor authentication for the library email accounts, so that makes us a little bit more secure. A lot more secure, actually, I guess. There was a little bit of trouble getting it going, but he pretty much guided Monarch into how to do it, so it's working for us now. There's 2 accounts that he'll have to do yet. One would be Vanessa's, and the other one would be the library reference accounts.
Okay.
And then the bulk of my report talks about this, you know, we finished up the strategic planning with the library staff, so we'll have a draft coming soon with the strategic plan. And then we'd like to engage the community for some feedback before finalizing the plan. I don't know that it'll get completed this year, or if it'll, I hope to get it done before December. The time is getting kind of short and holidays are coming up, so. The bulk of this talks about, one of the biggest concerns is our collection. What do we have, where is it going to live in the future? We did talk about things like moving collections around to best meet the needs of this, with the space. We have a huge nonfiction collection, and that I think can come down significantly because a lot of things that people used to go to a nonfiction collection are now online. And we didn't do reading. In fact, one of the books that I just pulled off before the meeting was Cool Careers in Medicine for Girls. And so
Cool careers and what for
in
girls?
medicine for girls.
And medicine for girls?
In medicine for girls.
Oh.
So obviously there were certain careers identified for girls at the time.
Right.
And so things have changed quite a bit.
Dang it.
You missed it.
So we are,
Right. Where was that book?
yeah, I can give it to you. I thought about you when I told her, like, this is probably something Jesse needs for a classroom.
Right. Right.
We did our nonfiction too, I totally understand where you're going.
So it's been quite revealing, and I gave most of the reading to Darcy and her crew, but I'm doing the young adult in them. Actually, Katie's doing a lot of the reading for the nonfiction collection. I'm doing the young adult, and it's really revealing some of the disorder and chaos that we have in our nonfiction, which is, by what we have, it's lined up by call number very well, so I can find what I'm looking for quite well. But there's certain things, the other thing that I noticed today is all you need to know about tattoos and body piercings came up when I was in the 500s. It was also, a copy was in the 200s. So it was like one of those things that once we get through this, we'll be able to see what we have as a collection and maybe put like items together a little bit better. So.
But yeah, those books go real well in West Bend. We sure, because we have a lot of tattoo parlors up here.
Well, I was reading that title, so it had not gone very well. So.
Yes.
It was in the wrong section.
Was that because, does it have, I guess, the classification that puts it in both categories, or was it just misfiled by someone putting books back?
Well, there is some leniency in Dewey Decimal to some degree. So probably over the years of different people cataloging and choosing whatever they found in the catalog for another library, it got put in two different places.
So it was left up to some interpretation
Some
probably as
interpretation,
opposed, yeah.
And there's a lot of that through the collection. So you can talk about like JFK as a president, JFK in history, JFK in his mental disorders. So you could be in three different places in the collection. Just off the top of my head, I'm sure there's many other. JFK in religion could have been one. So there's often opportunities to choose where the thing gets placed, but by right sizing the collection, it should get easier to get like items together.
Okay.
So, and then I talked about how many items we have in fiction versus nonfiction. There's not as many on the reading list for fiction, and then turnover ratio, which is new to this library and some libraries I've been in, that we are looking at how many times a book gets checked out in a year, and that will help us determine if it's something that we need to keep or if it's something that might not be as popular. And then the leadership team or the crew will decide what the best turnover ratio is for each area in the collection. Because certain things, history might not circulate as often, but there might be quality resources that don't change. It's history.
Yeah.
And then again, sometimes history does change when we realize we did it wrong. And so we may have to update
Right.
because of other things. So
What do we do with books when you pull them? Do you give them to the
everything
Friends?
goes
Book
to
sale?
the Friends, except they
Yeah.
asked me not to give them religious books last time because they had too many of them. So we have those boxed up
Okay.
in the back hall, and we can send those to Better World Books for recycling. We get nothing for it. But I
Send
have
them to
scanned
Goodwill, whatever, it doesn't matter.
ISBNs to see if there's any value there. Just and if I find something that has value, I'll pull it out for the Friends to deal with.
Okay.
Or it's kind of a hit and miss thing, 'cause I'm not going to scan every book.
Right.
Okay.
That's too much,
That's a lot.
And then Oh, I should have put a little space in there. Tomorrow I'll be meeting with the adult programming team to discuss a program plan for 2023, so I asked them to come up with a calendar. I think I gave them another week yet to come up with a calendar, so that we have a real plan for when activities are gonna happen, and we can properly market them. But last night's history program was very well attended. I think we had 26 people in this room for the history program because we're getting the carpeting done in the storytime room. So that was very exciting, and from that spurred other opportunities for programs from that group. So
Okay.
very nice reach to a largely male crowd, so that's.
Oh, that's
unique for
interesting,
our
good,
libraries.
yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Spelling bee was very well received at the Bend, so we had a couple good programs at the Bend, and things should continue going well there. And then I listed all of Terica's upcoming youth programs, although we'll hear about some of them tomorrow on the radio.
That's right. The one thing, just so everyone knows, Vanessa Taylor is replacing Emily Law. And Emily was, took the position of director at the Saukville Library.
Yeah.
Remember, we had asked Steve to help work with her and things, so she was promoted. Not at our library, but she took another position, so
Okay.
left
Okay.
us a void, which now you're filling.
And
So,
so far, things are going well for her, from what I can
good.
understand. So she's tracking.
And she can always come back and ask you questions, I suppose.
At the last directors meeting, they called Jen's name instead of Emily for Saukville, and I said, well, that was a quick turnaround. Didn't know you were fired so quick.
Wow. Okay. Any questions for Steve on any of the issues? If not, we'll move on. Library Board President, nothing to report this month. It's been quiet. So we'll move on to number 6, agenda item for consideration, and it's actually the Library Budget Board, or, it's the 2023. I should have caught that on the agenda. You're saying approve the 2022. We're going back in time. So,
Well, down below it says 2023.
It does,
Above
yes.
it says
that's okay.
Please make sure the motion when you state it says 2023.
Okay. So, Steve is just gonna talk about a couple changes that were made from the last time that we approved it. So we need to reapprove with there's a couple changes. You wanna talk about them, Steve?
On page 2, I wanted to point out that we have a, let me try this together.
Oh, one of the positions you said?
Well, there.
You wanna look at mine?
It should be listed that we have a library associate level 2, who's going to be full-time with the, to do marketing as well as programs, so that's missing there, but it is in the budget that was sent to the city for the packet there, so. I don't know how I missed that, but it is, I'm not seeing it where I left it.
Okay.
Um,
So what you're saying is you've added a position.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this person will be full-time, and it's a person who already works with us, who stepped up to the plate and said, I can do this,
And they'll be doing marketing.
and is doing marketing along with the
Okay.
money to work.
Okay. And the other one was,
The other one that changed was the building maintenance fund. I had put an additional $50,000 in it, and it is the total, so that would have been, we actually got an additional $10. So it's now $25,000 instead of $65,000 for building maintenance,
which last year it was like 15 or 5, 15, so we got an extra 10. We tried for more, but
yeah,
the city pushed back.
yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That would be
31.
page 11 of the budget.
Oh, yeah, that's your 31, yeah.
Okay.
31 in the packet, but,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
okay. So, any questions for Steve on those two changes?
The employee one that made the expenditure go up on page 26. Is that what you were talking about, Steve? Or you said there was
Oh, there it
another-
is. It is on there. This is exact, page 26, LA, communication LA system is
Okay.
32,781.
Okay. So there's additional, okay. Got it.
So if there are no other questions, we need a motion to approve the amended budget for 2023.
I move to approve the amended budget for 2023.
We need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Katie and Jesse. Now, is there any discussion?
I just want to add that in the last 2 years, we went up 24%.
We have gone up, yes. We have gotten more money from the city, which is,
It's
I would think
still a
it's,
slow boil, but
yeah, but I think you've worked very well to develop a relationship with the city and given the city an understanding of why we need to have some of the additional money. So thank you on that.
Thank you, Steve. If we could just work on that hot dog dinner.
Brett. We have a motion and a second to approve the 2023 budget as amended with the two amendments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. That is it for this meeting. The next regular meeting is going to be November 15th. Do we have an assigned task list?
We do.
Okay.
Joseph,
Well,
I
you-
assumed
you-
it was
you-
coming.
You might be able to answer it without.
you might be able to answer it.
Yeah.
We need a CD update.
Yeah, so I haven't really done anything because I was waiting for the approved minutes. So now that the minutes have been approved, now I will move the funds.
That's that's the hokey part about it with the banking and stuff.
Yeah.
They won't do anything until you
I
actually have
remember,
posted approved
yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay, so now you got a job to do.
I do.
You got a task
yeah.
for next month.
And then Deb, are you gonna contact the county for outreach payment?
I think Steve.
Steve. All right.
Or I can, it doesn't matter, I mean, but.
Steve, you have a task.
I'm sure it's on its way.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? No. With that, we are adjourned, but we are adjourned into closed session pursuant to State Statute 19.851C. Entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to State Statute Section 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which this governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Being that we are going into a closed session, we need to have a roll call vote. So Barb, you need to say aye.
Aye.
Or yes. Tim?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Deb? Yes. Jess?
Yes?
Katie?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Okay, motion unanimously carries, so we will be going into closed session.